a mother's fear. Sophie sat on her bed, her hands clutching her stomach. "Mom, it hurts," she whispered, her face pale. Her mother, Emma, rushed in, panic flashing in her eyes. "Sophie, what's wrong?" Emma knelt beside her daughter, feeling her forehead. It was ice cold. Sophie winced, gripping her mother's hand tightly. The pain was unbearable. Just then, the doorbell rang. Their neighbor, Mrs. Harper, had heard the cries and rushed over. "Emma, what's happening?" she asked. Emma's voice trembled. "She's been in pain all day. I thought it was just a stomach bug, but now she can't even stand." Mrs. Harper didn't hesitate. "We need to get her to the hospital now." Emma helped Sophie to her feet, but as soon as she tried to stand, her body convulsed. "Sophie!" Emma cried, catching her daughter as she collapsed. They had no time to lose. Mrs. Harper ran outside, waving down a neighbor with a truck. Within minutes, the vehicle was speeding towards St. Mary's Hospital. Emma held Sophie in her arms, whispering, "You're going to be okay, sweetheart." But Sophie didn't respond. Her breathing was faint, her heartbeat weak. When they arrived at the hospital, Emma ran inside, screaming for help. Doctors and nurses rushed forward, taking Sophie on a stretcher. Dr. Lawson, a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes, examined her quickly. "Run a blood test immediately," she ordered. Emma clutched the doctor's hand, pleading, "Please, tell me what's wrong with my daughter." Dr. Lawson's expression remained calm. "We'll do everything we can. Please wait outside." Emma collapsed into a chair, her hands trembling. Mrs. Harper sat beside her, squeezing her shoulder. Inside the emergency room, the beeping of machines filled the air. A nurse returned with Sophie's test results. "Doctor, you need to see this." Dr. Lawson scanned the report, her face darkening. This can't be right," she murmured. "We need to do an ultrasound. Now." Minutes later, the screen flickered with black and white images. Silence filled the room. Dr. Lawson's hands clenched. The truth was undeniable. Sophie was pregnant, a 13-year-old girl, carrying a child. Outside, Emma felt her heart race as she saw the doctor approaching. "Mrs. Emma," Dr. Lawson said softly, "we found the cause of Sophie's pain." Emma gripped the chair tightly. "What is it? Tell me." The doctor hesitated before speaking. "She's pregnant." The world stopped. Emma felt as if the ground had been pulled from beneath her. You must be mistaken," she whispered, shaking her head. Dr. Lawson's voice was steady. "I wish I were, but the tests are clear." Emma's breath caught in her throat. She turned to her daughter, who had just woken up. Tears filled Sophie's eyes as she saw her mother's devastation. "Sophie," Emma's voice was barely a whisper. "Tell me who did this to you." Sophie clutched the blanket, her small body trembling. Emma reached for her, her hands shaking. "Please, sweetheart, tell me." But Sophie remained silent, tears streaming down her face. At that moment, the hospital door swung open. A tall man stood there. Michael, Sophie's stepfather. His voice was calm. "What's going on?" Emma stared at him, her mind racing. Something about his composure felt wrong. Dr. Lawson stepped forward. "Mr. Michael, we're still assessing the situation." Michael's eyes flickered towards Sophie. His voice was gentle, yet firm. "Sophie, tell them. Tell them it's not true." Sophie flinched, gripping the blanket tighter. Emma's stomach twisted. Dr. Lawson turned to the nurse. "Call the police." Michael's face darkened. "That's not necessary." Emma stepped in front of Sophie, her voice shaking. "Stay away from my daughter." Michael's jaw tightened. At that moment, the door opened again. Sergeant James stepped in, his voice firm. "Michael, we need to ask you some questions." Michael turned, his expression unreadable. "I have nothing to hide." But Sophie's small, broken whisper shattered the room. It was him. Emma gasped, covering her mouth. Michael froze. Sergeant James pulled out his handcuffs. "Michael, you're under arrest." As the officers led him away, Sophie collapsed into her mother's arms, sobbing. Emma held her tightly. "You're safe now," she whispered. "He'll never hurt you again." Dr. Lawson knelt beside them, her voice gentle. "We'll get her the help she needs." For the first time in months, Sophie felt warmth in her mother's embrace. The nightmare wasn't over. But finally, a new beginning had begun. Outside, the sun was rising, and so was hope. This version keeps the essence of the original story, but presents it with different characters and structure. Let me know if you want any changes. If you like this story, please give it a like. Subscribe to our channel. Your support keeps us sharing tales like this. We're so grateful. See you soon.